Usman Nurmagomedov versus Paul Hughes has the potential to be one of the biggest fights in the year if the PFL and Bellator were to market it correctly. Usman Nurmagomedov is of course a relative and training partner of Khabib Nurmagomedov, and Paul Hughes is a training partner and friend of Conor McGregor. It is Dagestan versus Ireland all over again. Conor McGregor's tweeting about it, Khabib Nurmagomedov's tweeting about it, Paul Hughes is tweeting about it, reporters are talking about it, fans are talking about it. But the PFL is radio silent on this fight, which, as I did say, does have the potential to be one of the biggest MMA fights of the year, given the correct promotion. Now, I do want to get back to that statement in a moment, because I will talk about the Twitter exchanges that are going on right now online, but I wanted to talk about Bellator, because I feel like this fight itself genuinely could save the promotion, or at least help the promotion get out of the position that it's in right now, because Bellator, we all know right now, is not in a very good public viewpoint. Since the PFL did acquire Bellator, it's been relatively unknown what they were going to do with the promotion. Were they going to throw it away and just have everyone fight under PFL, or were they going to continue Bellator, which they have somewhat done with this Champions Series. And I think that it was quite good events. I actually really enjoyed the Champions Series events. I covered them in videos on my channel and We Want Picks. And I thought that the events themselves were actually quite good. I really enjoyed them. They had championship fights on nearly every single card. It was a pretty good time, I felt. But the reason why Bellator is now in a pretty bad light is, of course, because Patricio Pitbull is one of many former Bellator fighters or current Bellator fighters that have been signed to the PFL, or their contract has been acquired by the PFL, I should say, and they're not being given fights. And that has happened quite a lot. A lot of PFL and Bellator fighters have been released, but a lot of the bigger names that are on bigger contracts that I would assume cannot be afforded by PFL and Bellator to make a profit at this point, they're just being held onto. Like, Patricio Pitbull is one of the greatest Bellator fighters of all time, and you could make an argument to put him in a list of some of the greatest fighters of all time. This is a guy that's been the champion of 2 different divisions in Bellator, featherweight and lightweight. He's won, I believe, 30 fights under the Bellator banner. It is absolutely ridiculous how he's done, and he even went for the title at bantamweight. So he went for a 3rd division title, which would have been insane if he could have pulled it off. But Patricio Pitbull, definitely a legend under Bellator for sure. A Bellator Hall of Famer, is complaining very publicly, very regularly, about how he is not getting fights under the new ownership, and he's been sitting on the sideline for 2 years. He's made it public now. He wants to leave. He wants to finish his career in the UFC, and PFL aren't letting him do that. So there is a lot of negative light on there from him, but also a lot of other fighters as well are complaining that they're not getting fights, which is obviously not good. So it seems like the PFL and Bellator are kind of in an awkward spot, which this fight I feel like could save. Now, to talk about the fight, talk about the build-up, and see what we've seen so far, let's quickly jump, of course, to everyone's favorite social media, X.com, also known as Twitter. Paul Hughes' Twitter has been going kind of crazy recently. He only got 400 likes here, but he did post about Usman Nurmagomedov's failed drug test. Now, for some reason, a lot of people try to dispute whether or not this happened. It's a no contest in his record, 6 months. I don't know why there are people out there that deny that this is real. It's very real. But anyway, he posted that, 5,000 likes. Called out Ali Abdelaziz for probably tweeting on Khabib's account, which I'll get to right now pretty much. 1.4k likes and 10k likes on him talking about Khabib, talking about Conor. Now, Khabib's tweet, 30,000 likes on Twitter. Now, I'm not super familiar with Twitter. I do have it, of course, so if you wanted to follow me there, do, but I just don't really post anything of substance, I don't think, on that platform, to be honest. But it is quite interesting, and I feel like 30,000 likes on Twitter and 2.9 million views is just very significant. And this is Khabib posting here. I think he's got a big profile, of course, but he's talking about the rivalry between Dagestan and Ireland, which was really started by Khabib and Conor, and talking about how MMA is dominated by Dagestan versus Ireland and stuff like that. 30,000 likes. Kind of funny, because a lot of people, including myself, honestly believe that Ali Abdelaziz tweeted this. ACD MMA posted, "Why is bro having a conversation with himself?" But if you know, you know, that's pretty funny. But we've got all of this hype. We've got Khabib Nurmagomedov, one of, if not the, well, probably not the biggest name in MMA right now, but like a lot of casual fans see Khabib as Jesus Christ, pretty much. So Khabib, I would say, is like top 5 biggest names in the sport right now, even though he hasn't fought for years and is retired. Andy Hickey MMA posted here about this one here, said that Don Davis is not a good fight promoter because he hasn't even tweeted about Usman versus Paul Hughes, which has gone viral. And it has gone viral. Khabib's talking about it. Conor's tweeting about it. Paul Hughes is tweeting about it. And what can the PFL and Bellator do to really maximize this situation? I think what they've got to do is they need to have a press conference. Bellator, I don't think, actually ran press conferences when they had their big cards. And if they did, I genuinely never watched one, I'll be honest with you. But they need to do the press conference. You know what boxing does as well for big fights, where they have the face-to-face, they have the round table or just a table. There's someone in the middle mediating it. It can be Don Davis, it could be Khabib, it could be, I don't know, it could be someone of note, you know. You could even get Francis Ngannou to mediate it and have Usman Nurmagomedov there, Paul Hughes there. It's just them one-on-one talking to each other. They can talk smack. I know Paul Hughes, man, definitely a guy that can talk and can market himself very well. The UFC fumbled big time on him because he is coming off a huge performance when I personally did pick AJ McKee to win that fight. Paul Hughes won that fight. He did win it clear as day. I watched it back very recently, actually, only a couple of days ago. And that's a really good performance from Paul Hughes. I was quite impressed by how good he looked against AJ McKee. And I think that against Usman Nurmagomedov, similar stylistic matchup, I will be honest, between McKee and Usman. But Usman is going to be a lot bigger than AJ McKee. And I think also a much, much, much better striker than what AJ McKee was doing. But I think that I just wanted to talk about that. That's kind of all I really have to say. Usman versus Paul Hughes. Keep your eye out for it. This is going to be a gigantic fight. It just will be. But I do have some concerns about whether or not PFL is going to market it. And do you think that this fight is going to be so big, it could save Bellator? Because I think that it could. I think that it could. I really think that it could. So let me know what you think. And I will see you guys in the next video.